Hello, hello. I hope you're well. Welcome back to Soundtrack of Your Life. I know it's been quite the long break, but we're back again. This time I'm back on the show with the really engaging and really warm Katinka van Kan. Now, she's someone again who came from my coaching network. We connected on a couple of community um, like networking events and stuff. And not only is she really great at what she does, which is a neuroscience based coach, but she's got a storied history in music, both playing and just enjoying it in general. So she plays things like the harp, the guitar, the piano, um, and it also made for a great wide ranging conversation, which you're about to enjoy, where we covered all manner of things of emotions in music and how we resonate as a human to music, and where those moments came from for Katinka, especially with live music, and just her history into how she got into playing instruments and all that kind of stuff. No, I'm not gonna like waffle on too much longer, but if you want to come along and enjoy the show, just click on one of the links that you'll find in the description or wherever you're watching or listening to this, and we'll get your session set up as well. So without further ado, enjoy the show and feel supersonic. Hello, hello. Welcome to this week's episode of Soundtrack of Your Life. I know, again, it's been bloody ages since I've done one, but life takes us where it will take us, right? So, at the same time, I think, what do they say? Absence makes the hearts grow fonder or something. So, this is very much in vain with that statement, because I have with me today the really energetic and lovely Katinka. Now, Katinka and I cross paths on our school network. So for those unfamiliar, it's school is where you get to host your own community about whatever you like, really. Sharing values, sharing what you do, bringing people together, all that kind of thing. And Katinka and I have been on a few networking calls together where we share space with other entrepreneurs and people in our network. And the first thing that caught me about Katinka is, in her background, as she's got now, she's got a piano. And she's also got a harp or two somewhere and a guitar somewhere. So I thought, right, music, here we go, brilliant. And through just engaging on comments and posts and even on the calls itself, Katinka's very, as you'll see from this conversation, she's very positive, very energetic. And we spoke a little bit here and there about music and the impact it's had on lives. And look, if you're new to the show, this is exactly what this place is about. I believe we've all got stories to tell when it comes to how our lives, whether that's people, times in our lives, scenarios, moments, have interspersed with music. So songs, bands, albums, soundtracks, theme tunes, film scores, whatever that might be. There are various shows out there that give this platform for celebrities. So I thought, fuck it, why not somewhere where us ordinary folk can share as well, right? So look, without further ado, Katinka, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. I see the harps and the guitar, but I think you don't see them. Maybe it's cropped in the recording, but we can. I'm happy to show them off a little later. I love being here. You asked me to send you a playlist of mine, so I did that. Which was funny because it's a playlist I actually haven't listened to for a little while. And then I started listening to it again when I sent it to you. I was like, this is so me. Such a weird mix of different types of music. And it really made me connect it to myself a bit more again over the past week or two. I think it was 2 weeks ago when I sent it to you. So that was a good start. And I'm very curious where the conversation today is gonna take us. Music.
So you mentioned that thing about playlists and how these songs connect to you. So what makes a song connect to you?
It's really emotions. It's always the emotion behind it. That's what I want to say, but that's obviously my interpretation of it. I come from a fairly musical family, or at least half of my family. My mom's side is all about the music, so I got those genes. My dad's side is arts, like painting and stuff like that. My little sister got all of those. So I can draw a tree, but then that's really where it stops. But as you can see in my background, usually in the calls that I do, is music really stuck with me. And it's something that helps me, like playing music, but also definitely listening to it. It's always helped me to find a way to work through my emotions, or at least give space to them. And I can say when I was younger, 14, 16, those difficult years of our emotional development, it really gave me a place where at least my emotions were acknowledged. So I listened to a lot more aggressive music when I went through puberty. And that was very good, I think, now looking back, because it made me feel like I'm not the only one, right? If music like this is out there that can be so loud and aggressive, it really felt like that was taking it away from me a little bit, and not keeping my emotions internalized, but it gave me a platform, maybe, or a way of feeling them together with other people. And
Do you remember when that first happened? Is there a particular song or band where like you got that resonance of like, oh shit, that's me, straight away?
I think it happened a few times. So in my more aware years, I'd say high school, that's really when you start to develop your own music taste, I think. And then I remember the first time, because YouTube was still new back then, right? I'm 34, so yes, I saw the beginning of the internet and YouTube with that as well. And I was at this friend's place, and he was a very big fan of Linkin Park, like Linkin Park keychains and clothes and everything. I didn't even know the band then. And the first song that he put on YouTube, I still remember it was One Step Closer. I see the clip, like Chester's green hair and everything. I can see right there. And I knew, just like, what is this? This is something. And that was all I ever listened to still until today. I had the same with Evanescence, because there was a collaboration, Linkin Park, Evanescence. And I was like, oh, who's this woman? I feel like that is something or somebody I would want to be, maybe even. Okay. More of that idol, you want to be. And Amy Lee is a musical artist. She also plays the harp, but it's also in that a bit more emo, goth kind of corner of both the fashion and the music. The looks. I felt really acknowledged by that, by the music. I think those are the two main bands where I would say that's me.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, you're right. Like when you say our tastes form in those formative years of teenagers, right? We're very impressionable. We're looking for that identity affirmation, I think. And it's funny. I think when it's those bands that you first find at that point tend to stay with you, even till now, right? They're very formative. They're very identity affirming, right? And it's something that stays with you as like, this feels a part of me. And when you get that resonance with a band or a song, then it's like, that got right into how I feel, what's going on.
Very supportive. And also the scene around it. I think especially with a band like Linkin Park, they're known for it as well, that they have such a solid fan base. They've always had that, like Linkin Park Underground. And that is something. So I started going to concerts and festivals when I was 15. So I was 15 when I went to my first festival. My mom allowed me to go for a day. And then when I was 16, I went for the full festival, which is like half an hour drive, I think, from my hometown. So
nice.
With a few older kids, and that was the first time, and I remembered being there in a crowd, listening to that live music, or that togetherness that we feel, that mass emotion as well, but mainly enjoyment, and yes, anger, but in a very positive kind of way. The first time when I saw people being angry together and enjoying it, or being cheerful together and enjoying it, or everybody supporting each other no matter what the music is or the band is, that's when I decided that this is my lifestyle now. And these bands were a very big part of that as well. And what you say is right, they stick with you. Linkin Park has had a little break. I remember when we got the news that Chester died, and it broke my heart. I was absolutely devastated. And I went to their concert here in the Netherlands last year when they did their first tour back again. And I cried 4 times. I just kept crying with all the old songs that came up. I was just bawling my eyes out, telling my friend, like, I don't even know why I'm crying. But it was just everything that came up, and the amazement of them being there again, and the crowd being there again, and having that experience again with my band. It's such heavy emotions, but I was so happy. And then 33-year-old bawling my eyes out at these songs. But yeah, I think very special. It's really something that music does that I cannot find anywhere else in my life.
When you said the words "my band," that literally, hit
Yeah.
me here too, because your band is your band. I feel like no one else gets to dictate that for you. And I think when you say it in that way, you drop all those inhibitions of like somebody else has to get it, or I need that resonance from other people, that acceptance, because it's just your connection. As you said, crying, like that's how, as you said, music has this innate ability to reach in and really gives the space to what you're feeling come up. And sometimes you can't even articulate it. Yes, there's grief or tragedy associated with it. Chester not being there as a band member, seeing them live, seeing them with everybody. It's true, and it's like all those old songs rekindle those old memories and stuff, right? So I had exactly the same with Oasis last year. Apart from the grief and tragedy part, it's just like, to try and describe to people, I just say it was joy unconfined.
Mm-hmm.
Like wherever you looked, it was the t-shirts, the hats, the sunglasses. It doesn't matter what gender, age, color, like height, anything. Like you're all there for the same reason, and the unity you got for many a story I saw and both experienced. Like you'd be best friends with a stranger stood or sat next to you. You'd be buying each other drinks. You'd be sharing stories. You've never seen them before, and you probably never see them again. But for just those 3 hours or even 5 hours, if you're there for the support acts, you're there as one, and it's just incredible to experience.
Because you speak the same language. If you like the same band, if you have the same things coming up with that, it's like music is a language. I always tell people this. Some believe me, some don't. But music is a language, and it's a very international language. It's a language we all speak. And some people like music A, some like music B. There's a lot of endless different genres and opinions to have about it. But it is a language, and if you find like your band and you're there, you are all speaking the same language. And it doesn't matter, like you say, it doesn't matter what color your skin is, what culture your background is, what country you come from. That's why I like festivals so much, because there's a big mix.
Yeah.
And there's, especially if you go. So my favorite festival is Pukkelpop. We're going again in August, and it has a lot of different types of genres. I think they have, I don't know how many stages they have. It's maybe 12, 13, 15, I don't know. There's a lot of bigger and smaller stages. They have tents. They also have things like comedy shows. There's electronic music, all kinds of everything on the scope: dubstep, drum and bass, techno. Minimal, you have it all, but then also the heavy metal bands and the pop bands, and I've seen all different kinds of bands. I've seen Snoop Dogg there, I've seen Eminem there, but also Linkin Park, Enter Shikari. It's everything on the scope, which makes it so much fun because you can go with your whole friend group, and there's always something for anybody to enjoy. But also everybody that you meet is like, oh, what band have you seen? You can have conversations. And sometimes these conversations are, you're going to the whole techno lineup. That's the only genre that I don't like. So I can just tell them, I don't go there. I think that music is shit. And then people are, no, you should come with us. If you come with us, then you will understand it. And then I never do, because I still hate the music. But it's being there and with people being so enthusiastic, even if it's a type of music that I don't like. But it's not about that. It's about being together, enjoying it, trying to force your music onto somebody else.
That's just it. Like, did you ever experience either being on the end of or giving out the idea of like a music snob? Like, my genre is better than your genre.
Yes, I have that. Yeah, I had that experience a lot. And
Good. I'm glad it's not just me then.
yeah, no, it's definitely not you. So I've studied also at the conservatory. You'll find a few there. So I did school music and I only did it for a year, and then they kicked me off. But that's when you have like people from jazz think jazz is better, from classical music is better, and some people are open-minded, some are not. And especially in education, if you are focused on one thing so much, then that's the thing, right? Otherwise, you're not going to make it. So that makes sense. But also, I find it a lot in the techno scene. And this is a music genre that I don't really like. It's very big in the Netherlands. And I've met a lot of people that if they listen to that, that's all they listen to. And I always say, for me, that is a red flag. If somebody only wants to listen to one type of music and constantly lives in this world where this is the music and all other music is not as good and everybody should only listen to this, I call it a red flag. And I think it has a lot to do with then you're living in one type of emotion, one type of view of the world, one type of sphere, kind of. I mean, techno is my personal example, but it can go for any type of music, right? So, yeah, and it's something interesting, right? What have you experienced if we talk about the music scenes?
when you mentioned that, that impressionable age, right, of
Yeah.
teenagers, right? I hark back to that time, and like I also found my genre of music, which guitar-based music, around that time. But before then, it was this. You just listen to whatever caught your ear, right? So stuff in the charts, the big hits that people were just singing about at the time that got really popular. I come from a Bollywood background, so old, like 50s, 60s era, like my parents were into. But it was only until I got into guitar-based music via random. I just heard a track one day, and it's like, okay, this is different. And I for about, I'd say, probably a couple of years after that, I tried to just find other people to go, do you get this as well? And very quickly it was like, no, because everyone was into this R&B hip hop thing.
Oh, right. Yeah,
especially from my background of like cultural wise, and it was like it just felt like me against the rest, and it was like I was trying hard to go, this look at this album, look at this song, look at this, that, and they just weren't interested. And that's where I found it actually turned a bit personal, like why are you liking this kind of music? You should like what we like, not in a, and they wouldn't like go, here's this kind of music kind of thing. It'd be like I'd try and share my music, and they'd be derogatory of it, and then derogatory of me for actually liking it, type thing. And they'd actually use it as a kind of wind up thing, and that was something I didn't deal with very well at that point. But by and by, you just, I guess, through learning and experiencing, you just like, fuck it. I'm not here to convince anybody now, actually. It's like, if I get it, that'll do.
I was going to say that was your first lesson of, if you're not in the right environment,
yeah,
change the environment, like don't change yourself.
But also, like, it is things like, as you mentioned, the concert going experience, and just enjoying that more, along with the music itself. When you're not in a concert, it's like, yeah, this feels right, this feels me, and I think from then on it's been like, what, I don't get me wrong, I still have bouts of music snobbery. I think I especially feel nowadays, but like you've mentioned Linkin Park and Evanescence, right? I've mentioned Oasis. Those kind of groups will be mentioned in 5 years, 10 years. But are we going to talk about today's people and music in the same manner?
Yeah.
I have my doubts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think, as you said, all the things you mentioned about music being that vehicle for our emotions and stuff like that. And look, taking into account what you said about, look, people find their own music, and to whatever people are into, it's fine. But it's like, I don't know, have we just lost that sense of music being that unifying factor?
I have ideas about this.
Go on.
theories. Let's say I
Go
have
on.
theories based on nothing but my own observing life and society.
Let's have it.
So, because I absolutely agree. I think, and it's been going on for a while. So, Linkin Park used to be top 40 music, Evanescence as well.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
TV music, was what we saw. Eminem, it was what I was waiting in front of the TV to hopefully today we're gonna hear that song. I mean, you can almost not imagine that life was like that. That had a certain excitement, but it's very intertwined with identity, right? You identify with a band, with the music, with the clothing that they wear, with the way that they perform. And that's why some people like some bands and other people like others. What I've seen happening is a few things. So the top 40, everything is starting to sound more like the same thing. And the thing about top 40, like the mass is the mass for a reason. We need that as well. We need like the mass so that we can break away from that if, the few of us that want to and can have a different identity. That's also not for everybody. I had to learn that it's absolutely fine. If you're a top 40 person, then that's also a great identity to have. So stick with that. But the last decade or two, what you see happening with the music development is that there's not a lot of new things anymore. And we've now gone through a phase in the last maybe 5 years where every time when you hear new music or people hear new music, I'm fairly educated in music. I'm like, that's not new. That's a cover from the 90s, which already was a cover from the 70s. So you see this in music. You also see this happening in fashion now.
Yes. TV and film as well, I'd say.
Yeah, things are coming back, and this is all societal development is very connected to technology. That's also with the millennials, Gen Z. They're not. We don't make up these phases. It's always connected to technology. So Gen Z is the first generation that grew up with the internet always being there. I'm a millennial, so I grew up without the internet. We got to meet mobile phones, and after high school, I got a mobile phone. So we've had these different things happening.
True.
And you see that with the music as well. It's becoming more difficult to have new things or invent new things. Like what the Beatles did was insane. It was things they never knew. And it happened before that as well. What Mozart did was like, what people there, Beethoven, don't even get me started about that guy, right? People ran out because they didn't understand it. They were mad, angry hearing his music. Like, what are you doing? We see that less and less because people cannot, there's no space to try out new things. Things are all about money and quick results. So what I see happening with like young bands or young musicians is that, the bigger ones that are still getting the opportunity to become big and make money, there's not a lot of space for you to try something out, to be actually experimental. You can be experimental, but within what we know works. Otherwise, a manager will not manage you, or you cannot make any money in the Spotify algorithm. That's just the way it is. And now in the last 2 years, now there's AI as well. So what we see happening, now it goes even faster. I see less and less new things happening in music because when it doesn't make money, so there's no way of putting it out there. Spotify algorithm, I try to get it to filter out AI music, but it's absolutely impossible. And AI music, I hear it instantly. I hear a song, I'm like, okay, nice, catchy, but I know this is AI because it follows a certain structure that we know works. It follows certain instruments, certain lyrics, written in a certain way. AI is not creative. I always tell people, don't be afraid AI will take over because what it cannot do, it doesn't have creativity. It can only see what works and put that together. So we see that more and more. And that's kind of what I'm observing. If we talk specifically about the music and platforms like Spotify and YouTube as well, that you see less new things, less developments, and more of it's becoming one mush that right now works to get views, clicks, and make money. And there's going to have to be a point where we break out of that again. Something will trigger. That's what we human beings do.
Do you think there's a point coming?
I mean, we have to, because otherwise we're going to die off. There's no growth. So I do feel that's kind of what we're talking about, that there's no development, there's no growth. And if you this is just the law of nature. If you don't evolve, you die. It's going to be either one of the two. So there has to be a certain point where the music scene or people are going to rage quit Spotify because I keep hearing the new things, or I don't know, crypto is going to go bankrupt. Something, it could be something weird like that, right? That triggers it. And then there's going to be another like societal breakthrough and new things will happen. What that will look like, I don't know. I'm excited for it. Well, we might.
Well, I hope you're right in that regard, because you make a really good set of points there. Where like, it's taken. I think it's funny, those bands that we feel that we'll remember for decades. They came. I always say there's like, if you go through from certainly here in England, right? If you go from the Beatles onwards, right? So they were what, the 60s? You could pick a band from every decade that's still being talked about today as like pioneers, or like they're not going to be forgotten. So the Beatles, the Stones, the Who, Queen, Led Zeppelin, Iron Maiden, Oasis,
Linkin Park, Evanescence.
Exactly, all these people. Yeah. And I'm just talking on one side of the border, and the other side, there's loads of them. But like, as the years have gone on, I feel you being into struggle. Like, okay, yes, Coldplay, yes, Ed Sheeran. Look at the size and scale of the shows and stuff now. I have no idea of her music, but Sabrina Carpenter and Taylor Swift, and all the big, huge, massive shows. Yeah, fine.
I think it's going to happen not with the bands first. It's going to start somewhere else. What I see a lot, and that's also because I really look for it. But there is a scene coming up with DJs and producers.
Okay.
Where they get classical music involved in their techno, in their dubstep, in their drum and bass, whatever it is. But you see the electronic music, that it's more difficult, I think, to throw something creative out there like they wanted to, but classical music still works, especially from the Romance era or the Baroque. That's Mozart, or stuff like Beethoven. Everybody knows it. I call it in Dutch, aangeboren muziek. It's like music you're born with. We know it, we hear it, and there's a reason for that. There's scientific things happening that trigger things in our brain, in our bodies, with the vibrations. There's a whole science behind music.
Wow.
From those eras, why that works. Why, if I say every brain now is like and you need to finish it. It's like programmed in us. And I see that DJs are picking up on this and involving it. And that is kind of how you can make a bridge, take people away from the familiar in certain steps. So I want to do something new with my techno, but I need to throw in something familiar and make that something new. And I found that very, very cool. Like, I'm following this Italian DJ now who does it with techno, which is not a kind of music that I like, but I love classical music. And he throws it in there, and now I can actually enjoy, not only listen to, but enjoy techno. And then he has all skill with fire and stuff. But like, that is great. And I think we need more of that. And that's something that will be coming up together with shows. And we have like insane laser shows and visuals and all the weird shit we can do these days.
Oh, absolutely.
That's how we can break out of that mold of this is what the algorithm decided we can spend our money on.
Yeah. And you're right, because it does feel that those moments and pockets are out there, but they're just heavily submerged under all the stuff we've got going on with I say, AI infiltrating everywhere. Like, I know there's possibilities with AI of like, what would it sound like if John Lennon sang a Michael Jackson song, or if Freddie Mercury sang a David Bowie song, or whatever. Voice artist. Like, it's nice to have that imaginative outlay, but as you said, in terms of music, to get us, to achieve that kind of era-defining cultural thing, you're right. I wonder if we're moving away from that kind of thing entirely, whether it is just now pockets of, say, something original, something new. Because as you mentioned, classical music, there's a couple of guitarists on YouTube where they do covers of classical music in metal form. No AI, it's just them.
I love that.
Like, there's a guy, what's his name? Eric, I think. but he did like Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata,
Mm-hmm.
all like bits of it, like completely on his own on guitar, like shredding. I don't know how he does it. Like he just shreds on the neck like that. Like what the? How are you
Yeah.
doing that? And like for the whole 6 minutes, just like you just watch it. You never mind the audible nature of it. You just what? How can he keep up? Is he going to do it? Just like
It sucks you in.
honestly, it's like wow. And he does all sorts, like not just classical, but like pop stuff and video game music. But the classical stuff are like goodness me. And it's not just copying Beethoven's movements, but just like he puts his own interpretations on it. It's like wow.
That's the thing. AI doesn't have soul.
That's it.
You still need that. But sometimes you need to break up with something, right? You need to miss something to understand how much you need it or how much you want it. And I think that's just a phase that we're going through now with the top 40 music, or like the music scene maybe in general. That okay, AI is intervening, and at some point we're gonna understand like we need that soul. I think it was Jacob Collier, or what's he called? Yeah, he said it as well. Like the one thing that AI doesn't have is unpredictability, because it's made to predict patterns. And so AI will never create a song where there's silence in there, a breathing pause. Just out of, like, not out of tune, but against your tone. These are like the things that make music magical. Why a live performance is never perfect.
Yes.
But it's so much more amazing to listen to than the CD, because it has that soul, it has that unpredictability. The musicians can change up the music a little bit. They change the tone to something that works better on a stage than on a CD. There's so many variables, and AI doesn't have that. So everybody's gonna get sick of it, and at some point, like, okay, we can listen to this song again, but it's not gonna work. It's not viable, I think, for music.
But you're right. It just also feels that AI, I think, is something for music. In essence, it's something where you can listen to it and go, "Oh wow!" It like the speed of its capability and its, I guess, technical prowess is something that, like, so for example, if you wanted to go, oh, I need a drum sample for this track, or I need to have this vocal track on it, that's what it can do quickly. You don't have to go to a studio. You don't have to get an engineer. You don't have to get an artist and that kind of thing. You make it so that the accessibility is there. But as you said, Liz, there's nothing to substitute for, like, when you listen to a song made by your favorite band, it's like, for me, I've always wanted to know the story behind it. Where did that song come from? What and without the artist even talking about it, you feel it through the music, the delivery, the
instant intrigue, right?
It's a human singing it.
Yeah.
I've always said the artists and bands that reach me, and it is Oasis. I'm not going to, beat around the bush there. I've always remarked that there's been at least 2-3 moments in life where I've gone out of nowhere, whatever's going on, and it's usually when I'm at a pretty low of a low. A song has come from them that's just pulled me back up. It reached right in to access exactly what is going on. And it's like, if God knows what would have happened if that song didn't appear at that point.
Especially here a lot.
AI can't do.
Yeah, exactly. And you hear it a lot. So I think Youngblood is a very good example of a band as that as an identity. Like every time that he's around his fans, people say, "I'm only alive because of you," and he always says, "No, you're not. I'm just here writing songs and singing them for you. You are the one that did the work." And I think that is a very important message. But we all need something to, you need a ladder to get out of that hole in your life, and that can be a friend, a family member, a therapist. Music is a very powerful thing that does that for a lot of people, and it's always the artists that have been there, right, or are there, because Chester Benningfield is a very good example of that. Kurt Cobain as well. We have a whole club of them, the 27 Club. That there's a reason that you feel so understood, because these artists that make the music are telling your story. I think that is that human connection. We have that with musicians. We have that with artists, with painters, with people on stage. If you watch like musicals or stuff like that, sometimes I've seen at art shows when there's just a painting and somebody stands in front of them and starts crying because they feel so connected to it.
Yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
art does. Yeah.
Do you think for you there's a particular emotion that music brings out in you or for you, or you feel that strongest sort of anchor to?
Well, it's by now, it's all the emotions. I think I can use it very well, and I see that I am going through something, or I'm very on top of my personal development. I have to, as a coach as well, because I cannot be down and do a session where I have to be there for my clients. So I need to be very on top of my own process as well. And it's been a very good and healthy tool. So if I know like, okay, I'm sad about something, there's certain playlists that I have or songs or bands that I listen to acknowledge that, but I also need to switch at some point because otherwise I'm going to drown in my emotion if I keep listening to the same song over and over again. So I need to find that kind of route through music, and this is something. So the playlist that I sent you, it's I called it To Cover. It's all songs where I listen to them and I feel at some point, oh, this is something I might want to cover, and that can be played on the piano, on the harp, on the guitar, or singing it. Not going to say that I can play any of these songs, but that is a connection that I have with the songs. If you listen to the whole playlist, and I started this maybe even around COVID times, I think could be. You almost feel that if you listen top to bottom, that whole playlist, you just feel there is different phases, different emotions happening. It's a whole connection. You have this on the album as well. There's a reason why Linkin Park has his muse also. There's a few albums where people are very critical, like, I don't really like the songs. I'm like, it's not a song, it's an album. You need to listen to it front to back because there's a storyline in it.
There's a narrative to it.
Yeah, you're not going to pick up a Harry Potter book, open it up at chapter 9 and say, I don't like this story, I don't get it. That's not how books work, that's not how albums work. And I have that with my playlist as well. And my liked playlist on Spotify, so just the songs that I like, that's something I usually put on if we are hanging out at friends' places, or at some point somebody's like, oh, who wants to play some music? Or there's a fight about if we want to listen to drum and bass or techno, then I just put on that. It is mostly songs. There's also some like classical things or things without singing, but just instrumental. It's a lot of different things, but it has a flow and a vibe. And it's a very good one for a group of friends to just hang out, talk, and nobody's paying attention to the music, but the music is supporting the vibe and also steering it a little bit. Where I've observed this and I find it very interesting, where when the music is becoming more active, the people are becoming more active. And at some point it calms down a little bit. And that's what I like in my playlist. And it serves me very well in that retrospect in my own life. When I go through things, when I need inspiration or motivation, but also sometimes when I just need to calm down. Because you said I have a very positive, active energy and a very positive spirit, but that can also be too much sometimes, where I'm just doing 10 things at the same time. I'm overflowing with ideas, and I know if I continue this, I'll just burn out. And then I need music. Classical music is a very good tool for that, to just help me breathe and get my thoughts together and just focus.
So cool. Like so many pointers there to say that you're right, like depending on what we're going through and what we need to process, there's all these we're more equipped now. There's so many tools we can use. There's playlists and collections we can make, and they're always going to be the right to have to look for your tape and go for a Walkman and try and forward.
I still have my whole CD collection.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. They're not going to go. There's still something. Because when you said the word album, I'm like, so many classic albums we can think of and bring up. Again, I think that's a missing thing nowadays. Where yes, albums are still being made, but it's like, is there narratives going through? And it's like, I think there's a reason where like these top whatever they are, top 10 bestsellers ever in whatever country, it's still the classics that are up there.
Yeah.
Rarely do. Okay, like an Adele has crept in as up there. Okay, fair enough. But it's still the Beatles, Michael Jackson, Oasis, Queen, Dire Straits, all these just like classics just sit there,
Yeah.
and even it doesn't have to be about bestsellers. It's just like, so I'm reminded of like albums like, so the Sex Pistols, never mind the bollocks, one album they made, it like, you'd think of punk rock, that's the album.
Yeah.
Does it have a narrative thrown through it? No, but it's just that collection of what are they like, hardly 2-3 minute songs each, but all together it's one. That's the pinnacle right there. Like,
Yeah, I miss albums. I miss the music stores, going through like the these and discovering new bands. That physical part of it. I don't love Spotify anymore. I like Spotify, and the only reason is the AI. And it happened a bit earlier already, where people started making or putting music on Spotify. What that is just like forest sounds or ocean sounds or stuff like that.
Oh yeah, what they call them, like soundscapes or something.
Yeah, or focus music. So it's just like this is a 6-hour song or whatever, or playlist.
Yeah,
that was the beginning of what we're seeing now with AI, because then it's the Spotify originally is meant for bands or for singer-songwriters, for musicians to put their music on. But now we've accepted, or they've accepted, that was going to be a part of it. Then podcasts also, I find it great, but it does something with your algorithm and with the platform. And now we have AI being accepted. That I don't really like. And you start seeing that the word
it's just a super mess now, isn't it? As you said, like where's the line drawn? There isn't one. It's like anything and everything will do now. And you mentioned that word again, algorithm. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah,
I know it's a thing, but it's like, oh.
I've discovered so many amazing artists, and like I've discovered country music and stuff like that, and the weirdest things with the Discover Weekly. So I used to do this every Monday. I wake up, I'm like, it's Monday again. I can listen to Discover Weekly. Let's see what it has in store for me. And I don't do that anymore because I know what it's going to be. The algorithm works so well that it just takes whatever I was listening to last week, and then it puts a playlist together that is exactly that. But that's not discovering anything. And now it's exactly that, but AI versions. And it's like covers of the songs I've listened to. It's kind of like it's working too well, and now there's no new things coming up. And it's always just the AI. It's even AI covers of songs that I listen to.
We're going to get AI covering AI soon, aren't we?
Kind of, yeah. And we're going to end up at just one song.
Yeah. Everyone just listen to this one frequency and that's it.
Narrow down to, But I mean, I have a lot of confidence that something will happen, because we humans, we're still humans. Our brain still needs the connectivity or the connectedness, or it needs new things. It needs like that emotional function that music has. We still need that, and with the AI music or like the other stuff, that's not happening. But I feel like it's gonna start somewhere else in society. And it makes me think of like Lady Gaga, who is, she exploded with her music, but there is a lot more happening around her why she's actually as big as she is, because there were cultural statements, there are statements in her looks, there are statements in her clothes, there is statement in her acting that she does. It's not just I made a viral song. So there's a whole development, a whole movement. Yes, a song went viral, but all the societal development comes with the artist. And that's what we need. And I'm fairly confident that will happen again, but we might have to be a bit patient.
Very true, and really well put. And that's a nice sentiment to have, that like, we're not done yet. We're not, AI's taken over now. So you're right. We as you said, for if anything, music serves that purpose for us as a big form of connection, unity, tribalism, which you can't take away from humans, And yes, we spoke about that. You find your own individual taste. That's fine. We don't have to have others validating it for us. But when we get that resonance, it's like, I akin it to like I know you're not necessarily a sports fan, but I akin it to when you find a fellow supporter. You know nothing about them. There is like nothing in common, but you either spot, you know, your team's like badge on their shirt or bag or whatever instantly. You're the same team. Where we can connect on that, you know. And music does the same. Like when people talk about it or that you listen to it, it's like, yeah, I'm a fan too, and that's it. Um,
One of us, one of us.
True, it's true. It's like, yeah, you're this. I think there's something inherently human about. Oh wow, you like this thing too.
Yeah.
It takes, I think, do you know what? It just takes us back to I think when we were kids, like when we were at school or wherever, and like you just got on with someone, you resonate with someone over the smallest thing, you know. You like the same game or toy or whatever it might be. You're like, oh, there's someone else I can spend time with, resonate with, you know, and we carry that on.
And music is always a part of that. So it's your mom singing you to sleep when you're a baby. It is your teacher singing you to have you eat in a structured way, you know, in elementary school. Toys have music in them. Games, video games, any type of game, you know, they have music in there. Of course, TV. You know, have you seen I Am Legend, the movie?
A little while ago, yeah.
It is a little while ago.
Yeah.
If anybody hasn't watched it, go watch it. It's very creepy. It has a very, I don't know if you remember watching this, but it has a very feeling of being all alone. They did it very well.
That's the ethos of the film.
But it creeps up on you. It makes you actually start feeling uncomfortable at some point, and it's more scary, this movie, than other movies. And the reason why is because there's no music in there. So they took the music out. Normally you have a suspense building up, and what they did with I Am Legend is they made it silent because he's there on his own and there's no music. So when he is watching a street, seeing if the monsters are there, there's actually just silence. And that feels so dangerous. No people, no music, no nothing, that you're just left there with your own emotions in that movie. That completely creeps up to you, and I found that amazing when I figured that out. I'm like, what is it in this movie? And I saw this in an interview, of course. They said, like, it's because we left the music out. I'm like, that is it, and we cannot do without. We cannot grow, flourish, be happy, feel connected without music in our lives.
That's an amazing
point. That, go watch I Am Legends because it's very.
I might have to rewatch that now.
Oh, yeah, because now you'll be aware. It's even worse.
That's a really good one because, it, as you said, it highlights the power of, as you said, of silence.
Yeah.
And when you get stark examples like that, you're like, whoa, and you feel that as well, right? You're left suddenly alone with only you in your head and your thoughts and your emotions. Like, whoa, okay, I'm gonna have to rewatch this.
Yeah, I'm curious what you think. Okay, so can I ask a question about your head?
Yeah.
Do you have music in your head sometimes, like stuck or songs in your head, or?
All the time.
Oh yeah. So do you ever not have that? I'm wondering because I always tell people I have always a song in my head. Sometimes it's even two at the same time, and then people tell me they don't, and I find it interesting to see how does that work.
Yeah, I think when you practice, I say practice, but when that just becomes a recurring thing, because you know neuroscience, right? So neural pathways firing constantly to form that connection. So when I asked you before about anchors between emotions and music, for me that says like I feel the music that I've tuned into always speaks of a universal truth. So that could be like melancholy in the present, but hope for the future, for example, or hope in general. Or it's funny, like Noel Gallagher said it best once, of like, I don't write songs specifically about my life or what's going on or whatever, my people. He's like, I write a song and I'll leave it to the person listening to it to interpret it as how they want to. So when people ask me, is this song about so-and-so? Is this song about it? And he's like, wherever you think it is.
Sure. Yeah.
And the reason I mention that is like when I come to, so when you ask me, do I have a song in my head? I'm like, yeah, because that band in particular, and then that line of music has always given something where, like, if it won't be a song in my head, it'll be a lyric. Like, so a lyric from Bittersweet Symphony will come along, or a song from the Smiths. So I've been, and I will get around to do this. I will. I've been mindful to create some covers lately that just came out of a situation that spoke so easily about it.
Yeah.
So there's a Smith song in there, there's an Oasis song in there, there's a Verve song in there, and it's like, it'd be nice just to, I'm looking at my guitars now and actually just record that as a means of expression. So when they're in my head, it's like it just feels natural. You don't give it a second thought.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. So it never annoys you.
If it's an annoying one, yeah, it's like, oh, fuck off, get out. Like, it'd be something. Usually, it'd be off an advert, because I think adverts have just gone to total shit now. Yeah. It's like, oh.
Yeah, they're so good though. I like advert tunes if they're good, but when they get stuck in your head, they usually are, because that's also playing. They're playing with that internal system that we have of why something is catchy. A certain tune, a certain tone combination that sticks with us. Yeah, so it's just the psychology behind music is so interesting, and something that came up when you said about the bit of the neuroscience and stuff. It's so good for your for your development. If your child is bad at math, put them on guitar lessons or piano lessons, just because playing music or learning an instrument, you have to work with both hands, sometimes hands and feet. If a kid is playing the drum, there's all different things, all these different parts of your body you have to become aware of and understand how to control them. And that's also communication between your left and your right side of your brain. I'm super dyslexic. I really tried learning French, and I know my French teacher probably still doesn't believe me, but I really put the hours in, and it's just my brain just doesn't do it. At some point, I thought, I cannot speak French, I don't understand French, I was not capable of learning French. But I know music, I speak music, so I figured, what if I just learn a French song? And it took me maybe an hour. I picked a French song. It's also in that To Cover playlist that I sent you. And so when I sing along with it, people tell me I have to believe them, but they say it's almost like you're native in French. That's how well the pronunciation is. And it's like, yeah, and I have no idea. Well, I know what I'm saying because I looked it up, but no clue. But it's the music that I understand. It's the feeling of the music that I understand, which is why it makes it so believable. And I started trying it with different things. So I know songs South Afrikaans. That's not so difficult for me as a Dutch woman, but I have the French one. And then we were in Cyprus. We picked up a song on the radio. I'm like, okay, let's try this. It's like Greek, I think. Easy. It's so easy for me. And it made different languages accessible to me. And also when I saw this is a different way of connecting to language, which is such a barrier for me because of dyslexia as a learning disability. And it was never possible for me. And now I can speak Spanish with a friend of mine. I can watch Spanish movies. Duolingo helped, but also when it's like, oh, if I start listening to Spanish music, then maybe it will be saved. And it works. My brain saves it when it's connected to music. Now it understands. Now it knows how to send things from left to right or whatever doesn't work with dyslexia. It's such a powerful tool for all these different things and ways. And just shout out to all parents. If your kid is either struggling with something in school or wants to play an instrument, please let them because it's very important for your development. And your brain is going to love it.
What a beautiful message. And it's like, so much truth in that, because that osmosis that our brain has through just, as you said, listening. It picks up on all kinds, as you said, like, it can be, as you said, gateways to languages. I experienced the same with the Hindi. So like my cultural background is Gujarati, and that's the same thing. Everybody around me spoke it. So you just sort of take it in. Same with it was years before I could know a song without knowing what the meanings are. But as you expose more and more to it, like, oh right, now I can understand not just the songs but dialogue through films, through TV, and that. I don't, heavily connect to it, like constantly absorb it, but it's like, okay, I can appreciate it, I can see it, but you're so right, like the osmosis that we get from learning it, and I always feel it stokes our imagination too. Like as you were talking, I remember this video on YouTube where, like, it's a channel. What's the channel called now? I forget the name, but it's drummers based. It's basically two guys that get guests on their show where they take a popular song, or I say popular, but well-known song, and they strip out the drum track, and they give the guest, who's usually a drummer from a band or wherever, saying, here's the song, you put the drums on it. And they just compare, like, the original recorded drums to what did the guest drummer interpret as the music, as what drums should be here and what that. And it's like, it's fascinating because they usually listen to it intently, right, going, right, okay, and you could just hear them like going, that should go there again. And it's like you could just feel their connections firing as you're watching.
Yeah.
It's just like, what they come up with is just like, wow.
Yeah. Interesting. It's very underappreciated, drums and bass as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Music.
I mean,
talking
of instruments, I mean, you should give us an idea of, like, how you got into your, piano, guitar, harp. Like,
I can show you. You said you don't see it, so let me just move my camera a bit.
There it is.
Well, this is the big one, which is a middle size, actually. It's not a concert harp.
Bloody hell, that's middle size?
Yeah, that's middle size. So it's 1 meter 70 centimeters, 170, maybe 172. And I have a small one here.
Wow.
But it's 143, I think, with the poaches. How do you say that? What it stands on. With the legs. Because I couldn't take them off, and then it fits in the car. And I had a lot of guitars. But I sold most of them because, started living with a guy and we needed space for his stuff as well. But I'm down now to 3 guitars and a ukulele. So, and then I have a whole box with, like, percussion instruments, different ones, anklung and stuff like that, like weird instruments. Now, the piano is for my grandma. My mom plays the piano, so I just really grew up with a piano in the house, and for me, a house never feels done when there's not a piano in there. And this was my grandparents' one. So my grandpa passed away earlier this year, and grandma moved from their big house to an apartment here in the city. So I can see her a lot now. And the piano had to go somewhere, but the family knew what's gonna end up with me. And the harp, I don't know. It was just, it's quite a cool story, actually. So my mom, she always had this kind of, like, rule in the house where every child can play one instrument and have one other hobby, like the sport, or, for my sister, it ended up being like a performance club or but we could do 2 things, and one instrument and one other hobby. We switched between a lot of things, and for me, piano was just an obvious start because we were used to that at the daycare where we were going to after school. They had piano teachers, so it was very easy to get piano lessons there. I liked it. I could play it, but more so that I could just play the piano. And then at some point, my mom told us, an instrument that you play, you have an instrument that is yours. You just need to find it. And it's different for everybody. So she was like, just sit down and think about what instrument would you want to play. Do you want to smack on something? Do you want to plug something? Do you want to press on buttons? Do you want to hold something like this or like this or like this? Is it big? Do you blow through it? Just think about what feels comfortable, what feels natural for you. Okay, so that's a conversation she had with me, and I went by my life, and like 10 months later, all of a sudden I came home. I was like 10 or 11, and I come home. I was like, Mom, I've thought about it. And she completely forgot about the conversation. Of course, like months later, she was like, well, what's this child talking about? I thought about it, and I think I want to play the harp. I still don't know where this idea came from, but I just came home with that message one day. And then it happened to be that one of our neighbors was the harp teacher. There's not a lot of them. There was one here in the city, and she lived a few doors across from us. So my mom called her up, and she's like, okay, my child came home and said that she wants to play the harp. I don't know how or why that happened, but can we just stop by? It's also because financially, not the most fun instrument to play. Like a flute would also be an option. But yeah, so my mom brought her there, also knowing that financially it was going to maybe be a bit of a challenge to buy this instrument. And then I got like a test lesson. This teacher put me behind her harp. She let me explain me a little bit how the instrument worked, let me play around with it. And I started playing it right away. And she told my mom, like, yeah, I'm sorry, but this is it. This is her instrument. And I got lessons, and after 1 year, I got my A diploma. So we have A, B, C, D, and after D, you can go to the conservatory. So I did A in 1 year, and I did the B, I think, a year and a half or 2 years later. So I did that all very quickly. And then the conservatory asked me a few times if I wanted to come study harp, but I never wanted that because I have the talent, but this instrument is mine, and the music that I play is mine, and the connection, the bond that I have with my harp is something for me, and I play a lot of different kinds of music on the harp as well. And that very much goes with my mood and my creativity and whatever I want. And sometimes I don't play it for months, and then I play it every day for an hour. And, I go through all the phases as a human does. But this is just my thing in life. And I've always made this statement. I don't want to study the harp. I don't want this to become my job. I don't want somebody to tell me you have to play 6 or 8 hours a day and you have to play these pieces in that way, because I'll decide what the fuck I want to do with my instrument. And I kept with it. I think they asked me 3 times. So I did the D exam as well. And there was 2 other students that did the D level, and they both wanted to go to the conservatory. I think both of them made it as well. And still, they asked me, do you really not want to go? Because there's not a lot of harp players around, right? But it was always a hard no for me. I've been very, very stubborn in that, and I've never regretted it. And it has stayed my instrument. My teacher retired, so I don't have lessons anymore. There's been new teachers, but that's maybe something that musicians recognize. If your teacher quits, that's also a very personal thing. I've seen it a lot. Sometimes people just quit their instrument altogether. I haven't done that, but I never really got back to lessons because I was like, nobody can teach me like she could. But my harp group came back together last year. So we got a message from the new teacher. She's like, I talked to Bess, it's my old teacher. Bess is B flat in Dutch. So it's a fun name for a musician to have. And she called her up and she's like, I know you had like some harp groups. How did that work? And she just gave her the WhatsApp groups. And she, one day I got a message like, hey, do we want to start this up again? And then all 6 of us were like, yes. And we just started that. So I have the group again, and it's been a lot of fun playing with them, performing, and staying connected to that instrument. But here at home, it's just mine to do what I want.
No, I love that. I mean, I like, as you said, when you reach a point where you don't need it to be, as you said, all mechanical, like going through all the grades and all the diplomas and all the pieces and all the. It's like you play it for you. I feel exactly the same with guitar. I've never had a lesson. I picked it up. What was that? 17, 18. Again, all my favorite artists were playing the same message. Like, if we can do it, then anyone could. All right, I put that to the test. I literally got a budget guitar from a department store. This is before YouTube and Google were a thing.
Oh, so, perhaps store copying them.
That's it. Literally, I found a static web page that said, right, this is a neck, this is a fret, this is a chord. And like, okay, got all the blisters on my fingers. But where it really started is like I was just round of friends one evening in the summer, and I mentioned I'm learning guitar. And he looked around the garden where everybody was around, and he pointed at people going, he can sing, he can play anything, he can do bass, he can play guitar, you're learning, we should all form a band. And we did. And it was like 6 weeks of the most. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing half the time. We knew we could play, but could we ever get it together? And I'm still learning. I can play, and it's like, what's going on? I didn't even have a pick. And the funny thing is, this how daft it got, right. Instead of getting a pick, I cut out a pick shape from an old credit card I had.
As we did, yeah.
And people looked at me and say, "Is that an old credit card?" I went, "Yeah." And then one day, the bassist in our group went, "Oh, for fuck's sake, get a proper pick!" And he just like got a whole box of them. And he said, "Here." And he said, "He's like 2-3 picks," and he's like, "That's just the fun we had." But I mean, because at the time we were all at uni, like we're all school friends from like growing up, but we're all at different unis. But then at the end of the summer, everybody had to go back to uni, and like we never quite all got back because adulthood took over, right? You know, fathers and stuff. But for those 6 weeks, like we recorded a little mini album of our own self-written songs. Such many conversations, like we talked about before we recorded the heat wave. I remember it was a particularly warm summer again, where we were at a friend's house with all the instruments recording, and they've got massive bay windows and they were open, and drinking beer, and like long into the night we'd go like trying to think of a title for a song, and it's like, why is it so hard to think of a title? And then, you know, someone just said, why don't we just do like the opposite of a band name? So like Red Hot Chili Peppers. So one about green, cold mushrooms. And we named one of our tracks Green Cold Mushrooms, and it's like
what was the name of the band?
Justice.
Oh, wow.
And even that took ages because we were like, well, we can't settle a name. We're like, so we had this thing where if we were all like pissing about in like like not paying attention, guitars and really, our drummer would just do that with his drumsticks, and we'd all just look across. Oh, look, it's the Sticks of Justice. No idea where it came from. Sticks of Justice. And then as we were going along, we're like, what about Justice?
Yeah, that's how good band names get born, with like a gimmick from the band itself.
That's it.
Oh, good. You still record things, right?
I do, yeah. Justice never made it back together, unfortunately. Yeah, that's it. It was short-lived. It was there. Our gig is on YouTube, where we played to about 20 people, mainly hecklers of our friends, at the local football centre. But it was fun. It was just like, and actually quite poignant because one of our he's not officially part of the band, but he's just always there. Like, so basically, he was the music teacher at school, where most of us went. So about a few years older than us, but like we just got on with him, and he was just a really nice character. Bit mad, but like totally like proficient at anything. You give him an instrument, he's like, fuck, he's good. So like watching that gig, we're like, you know, we'd be terrible, like missing our cue or the wrong bit here, the vocals going down, people just collapsing in laughter, and he would carry the song through with like a correct solo or a correct bit. And so the reason I mention it is like we lost him a few years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, thanks for that. But it's like so the drummer in the band, who's my friend, but he's really close to Johnny, his name is, and he like did the service and the all stuff for it, and he asked people to send in your memories of Johnny. So many people mentioned music, whether they were students from him or stuff from us, but just like, we just marveled at how good he was at music, because he was like, I think he could do classical, he could do jazz. He was in all the bands, like the orchestra at school, the jazz band at school, and anything. And just like watching the footage of it is just like, just makes you smile. You know?
Yeah, sounds good. Well, send it to me. I'd love to see your.
Yes, I will find it, and
4 minutes for 20 seconds.
Yeah, and you'll see me in like with my credit card picked there, just furiously trying not to
Yeah.
get
I love that guitar thing, music things.
I was tempted before we go to see if we'd get a little demo from you from somewhere, seeing as you've got all the instruments there behind you. No pressure.
Right now,
Scott, if you're inclined.
I've tried, but the problem is that because I tried it with a networking call, but then the audio muted.
Cut in and out. Okay, I tell you what. I know you've got a clip.
Do this. Can you hear that?
Say it again.
It's
no,
just
I don't think it's coming. Yeah, I don't think it's coming through. I know you've got a clip elsewhere that you can share, so you feel free to put that. But Katinka, thank you so much for joining me on this show today. It's been I knew it'd be a great conversation, but the way where it's gone is like, it's really good fun to hear your experiences and your stories and share that conversation. Before we go, do you want to just tell people like where they can find you, connect further, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Find me, on School, of course, that's where we met each other. So my community is called the Reinvention Project. So you can find that on School. And there's a lot of neuroscience fun facts. Every Saturday, we tune in with each other. We share songs of your mood of the day. So I do that. And so besides that, neuroscience and personal development. And I also have Instagram. That's also the Reinvention Project with underscores. So _reinvention_project_. I think that's how you find it. I know, complicated, but Instagram forced me into it. I don't say. And there, if you like music, I'm very creative with putting music in my stories. I always try to put a vibe in there, and that is actually one of the tools how I find new music as well. Is through my Instagram stories when I make them, and I look up weird shit to give a vibe. That's sometimes I just still discover fun artists there. That will be a tip. Yeah, shoot me a DM. And thank you for this conversation. I absolutely loved it. I was looking forward to it. Thanks for postponing so that we could both survive the heat wave.
No, absolutely. If we did that, I think we'd both be half collapsed by now. And the equipment too. No, I can't do it. So absolutely.
And our brains were like music.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we'll probably have you back on the show again. So everyone, thank you for watching and listening. Look, if you want to be on the show, just find me. You know where to find me. And Katinka's playlist and links are in the description, or you'll find it. You guys are clever enough to find it.
Somewhere.
Point. I know usually people point, but I don't know where it was. You'll find it. Thank you, Katinka, again, and we'll catch you all soon. Feel supersonic.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you so much for checking out this episode of Soundtrack of Your Life. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do like and share this episode around. Subscribe to the channel for further shows coming up. Comment with your thoughts below and use the sign up link to get yourself on the shows on. I'd love to have you on. Feel supersonic.